This conference will now be recorded.
Jerry?
Karen, you're kind of quiet.
Jerry?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
John?
Here.
Aaron?
Here.
Kathy?
Here.
Excellent. Everybody's here. Can we get a motion to approve our, let's see, is this a straight agenda or amended agenda, Karen?
Just an agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Okay.
agenda. Second that.
Jerry, aye.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I. Kathy, I.
John, aye.
All right. So next up on the agenda then is the citizen comment. We'll take a minute here, and anybody who has anything to add for the meeting tonight, this is an opportunity to do so. So hearing nothing, we will move on. First up is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Jerry, aye.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I. Kathy, I.
John, aye.
So then next up is the public hearing on the College Suites lot. In the agenda, we've got the official notice and proof of it being published. So as a public hearing, we'll once again open up for any commentary from the public regarding the College Suites lot.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Jerry, aye.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I. Kathy, I.
John, aye.
Got all five there, right, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. And also on the College Suites lot, next up on the agenda is resolution providing for the conveyance and transfer of title to property described herein by the City of Peosta, Iowa to College Suites LLC and authorizing execution and delivery of deed.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution, property transferred to College Suites LLC.
I'll second.
Jerry, aye.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I. Kathy, I.
John, aye.
Very well. Next up is an update from the Peosta Community Center. Stacy, take it away.
All right. I have the countertops that I said for the bathrooms. They actually did get installed today. So all we have to do is get the sinks back in them for the lower level, and that'll be done before we open. So that's one more nice thing to have checked off the list. And then as far as everything else I have on there, obviously everything's pretty much all COVID related, and kind of what steps we're doing, what things we're kind of waiting on. Do you guys have any questions on any of that information, either in the update or what I sent you?
I don't.
Yeah, I had a question as far as once the center's back open, what
Yep.
are we doing? What are we doing to protect staff? Are we having to wear masks or anything like that?
As far as requiring wearing masks, I lost you. As far as requiring wearing masks, we weren't going to. We were definitely going to provide them if they want to use them. We have gloves, we have antibacterial behind the front desk. We're going to do as much as we can to make sure they have everything they have to feel comfortable coming to work. We are doing the plexiglass in front of the front desk, all the things you can see around.
One other question is, as far as the gym itself goes,
Yes.
is there going to be, who's going to be around to make sure that we don't have, so to speak?
You cut off for me. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So obviously in our plans is you can plan a hoop, so to speak, with
Yep.
your family or by yourself.
Yes.
Who's going to monitor the fact that we don't have multiple people joining in the shoot around?
Yeah, so honestly, it's going to go based on trust. I mean, if I see something, if front desk knows, will we say something? Absolutely. But we will have signs posted that they will know that that's not something they're supposed to be doing. And that goes for a lot of this stuff. I mean, that's going to be some of the stuff in the weight room to make sure they're social distancing and respecting the rules. And from there, we're kind of going to play it by ear and do whatever we can to stop it. But I think as far as to say we'll patrol it 100% and we'll know, yes, they're brothers or they're not brothers, I don't think is a fair thing to say. I think that it definitely could happen. I'm just hoping that we can, put trust in the members to do what we're asking them to do.
Okay.
That could be naive, but I don't know, barring a better idea, kind of what we're thinking.
Well, and the lucky thing is we're heading into the summertime, so
Correct.
the gym is never that full from this time to
Correct.
October.
Correct.
What's the plan with the summer camp thing, the day camp thing?
Yep. So as of right now, I'm optimistically saying that I believe we'll have it. I actually just sent out an email today getting an idea of what parents still want to utilize said program. Usually we say no refunds, whatever. I think this is a unique time that we have no choice but to offer refunds for those who have already signed up for whatever reason, whether it's them just not feeling safe sending their kids or they can't afford it. So I sent out an email today to kind of get an idea what that looks like, how many people will drop out because of it. I've been getting emails pretty consistently since I sent out the email, but the majority of the people who've said they don't want to utilize camp are people that signed up for just field trip days. We know as of right now, WD buses are not running. We will not be able to do field trips. So a lot of them are withdrawing, which I assumed would be the case. That makes sense.
Right.
They signed up to do it. As far as the rules themselves, if we move forward, screening process, when the kids come, I believe we have to have 10 kids per classroom. So it essentially means breaking up all of our kids and putting them in different rooms throughout the center and then having staff lead each room. So it would be a little more strategic as far as where each child goes. But I think it's doable. Speaking to all my staff, they were actually very optimistic about it. So hopefully, as long as we still have people that are going to stay signed up, we'll be able to move forward.
And we did have Representative Shannon Lundgren helped us get in contact with Public Health just to verify that we were completely clear for day camp and that we wouldn't be running into any legal barriers. And I think we actually found out we probably have more freedom than we even thought we did. So we're certainly okay on a legal front or, honoring the governor's proclamations and public health guidelines.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, clearly a lot going on. Stacy, sure to appreciate your hard work to stay on top of it and manage the big changes. Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda then is the police monthly report. Chief Comer.
Well, if you guys have any questions, let me know. The only thing I wanted to let you guys know is the flagpole project was just completed today. We just had the electric and the lighting hooked up today, so we're good to go on that. I spoke with Shannon Lundergren with Trackside since they were donors with that project. We're going to have a quick ceremony and a picture op at 5 o'clock on Monday night, which you guys are all welcome to attend if you wish to. Other than that, I just want to give Dean Ludwig a huge shout out for completing the project. He did a lot of the work. Dean, you did. You did a lot of the work and I appreciate it. So thanks, Dean.
Thank you, Mike.
Excellent. All right, anything else for Chief Comer? I'll just give you a kudos. Nice job putting the American flag right behind you, Mike.
Right? Represent.
Attaboy.
Hey, Mike, I just
All
wanted to
right.
thank you for the leading the seniors through town. Heard a lot of great comments about it. And, as a parent of a senior, it was neat to see.
Yeah, I think it went well. And also, I'd like to thank you and Doug for both helping me set up early on with that parade. But it went well, and like I believe it was well received also with the community. So it was a good job, and it was a good thing.
So thanks, Doug, for getting the ball rolling on this too.
Yeah, thank you guys for the help.
Yeah, it was a good event.
You know, what's a comprehensive plan? We talk about a city identity, and while we might not have a city center we talk to as a city identity, I think these kind of events definitely are things that we identify with as uniquely Peosta, something to be proud of. All right, thank you, Mike. Public Works is next. So Dean, the floor is yours.
I really don't have anything to add to the monthly report, but if anybody's got any questions, I will definitely try to answer them.
So those folks that were going through town last fall and the spring with the underground boring, do you know, are they done with the patchwork as far as grass and the concrete and the sidewalks?
But I think you're referring to the gas company, John?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. So the gas company has to bore underneath the tracks yet.
Okay, so they're not done fixing the messes that they created?
No,
Okay.
no. The restoration, they made an exception for a couple residents in town, but the most part, the restoration group was going to come in after the project was totally completed. And as I said, they need to get underneath the tracks. They're waiting on a permit to get underneath the tracks. And then they'll do the complete restoration.
Do you know roughly what type of time frame is?
I have not gotten a date on that.
Okay, thanks.
I could definitely do some checking into that to try to get some answers, but
Okay, I mean,
at this
they're waiting
moment,
on they're waiting on the railroad. It might be a little bit.
absolutely.
Anything on the street projects?
Which ones were you referring to, Kathy?
Well,
All of them?
Brady Street, Deerwood, and are they coming back to finish Royal Oaks and Missy Drive, or what's going on there?
Yes, absolutely. Looking at probably the later part of next week. We have a
To
little bit
finish
of,
this?
yes.
Okay,
It was a matter of convenience for them. They were passing through with the milling machine. So they
okay.
asked if they could come in
hmm
and get it milled off. We do have a little
Okay.
bit of curb repair to do.
What about the other project? Is that gonna be started soon or what's going on there?
Potential start date is the last week of May, the last week of this month.
Okay,
So I would presume to say probably the first week in June,
right,
after Memorial Day.
okay.
Did we get to mix the salt this time, Dean?
We did not, and actually last year, they actually came to our site and blended it. Which that was done at a later date. We had it all hauled in place, and then they came at a later date and blended it.
Are they gonna do that again this year?
We definitely can. I have not heard nothing from them yet, but definitely going to consider it.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. I really
Yeah,
liked it. Seemed to work pretty good.
Yep. I was actually going to consider talking to them and see if, since we had it all placed in the salt bin already, to see if they could maybe just mist over top and let it trickle down throughout the summer, if we'd get the same results or not. But that was something I was going to actually talk to Skyline about.
All right. Thank you, Dean. A lot going on. Anything else for Public Works? All right. I'm glad to see we had a nice assortment of questions for all of our department heads. All right. So next, still into Public Works, we do have a resolution out here approving a solid waste contract. Both proposals are in here. We're going to need a motion to approve one of those two.
I'll make a motion to approve by county.
Second that.
Jerry, I.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I.
John, aye.
Did you get 5, Karen?
Yes, and Jerry made the motion and Doug seconded it.
Yep, they're nodding yes. Okay. Next up then, we'll move into the administration. We need to set a public hearing date for our fiscal year 20 budget amendment. And we're looking for a motion to put that on May 26th.
Yeah, as noted in the comments, this was, just due to some sort of regular operational level projects, nothing too excessive, including the capital projects are always so hard to estimate to know what amount of each project will be completed and billed before the fiscal year. And I mean, even quite frankly, now we still won't be sure, but we, just need to file this amendment to meet the state statute that we do not exceed expenditures in each function.
I make the motion to set the public hearing date for FY20 budget amendment on May 26th.
I'll second.
Jerry, I.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I.
Kathy, I.
John, aye.
All right, next on the agenda then is a discussion. As I understand it, we don't need to take action on this, but it's simply for council awareness. regarding the plat of the survey for the E&H Birds Place.
Yeah, I know I shot you guys a really quick email, probably not soon enough, but this is coming in front of the council at the request of the Birds Family Partnership. They wanted this discussed sort of in the context of their annexation agreement. Planning and zoning did discuss it immediately preceding this meeting tonight at 5:15. They did adopt a motion to, or acknowledging and recommending approval of this plat pursuant to successful annexation. So the council, we won't have actual authority to approve and sign this plat until it does become city, under the city jurisdiction. I know I included that timeline that I just tweaked a little bit now based on actual receipt of all the documents. So you should all have that. But I mean, this plat has been reviewed against our planning and zoning ordinance just for conformance in terms of acres and the amount of parcels that have been sectioned off. So it is in compliance with our zoning and ordinance. So when we do have the authority to approve it, that will be, in line with our regular procedures. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the zoning or the improvement planning for this area. This is just the plat approval. But again, it will be some months before this can be recorded at the courthouse, approved formally and recorded at the courthouse.
So what's this leading to?
Sorry, say that again. I don't know that I understand.
What's it leading to? Is this the property they want to sell to?
Yeah, so that my understanding is that lot 2 is what Callahan would like to purchase. Mr. Callahan would like to purchase.
So does the housing study play into this at all, or is he just going to go ahead with the big apartment complex, or what's happening here?
I think it does. And planning and zoning have the same question Justin asked about feedback from residents, because he had received some from Kelly Oaks residents. So I told him that, we were viewing this as kind of a multi-stage information gathering process. The housing study was the first part of that. I just actually got the final version today, so it'll be available on the city's website tomorrow to be sent out to our partners. But so we know that gave us a threshold, for how many rental units we can absorb. And it also recommended that we don't, place multi-res units in close proximity to other single family homes. So, I mean, that was a recommendation of the study. And we know the comprehensive plan is another big piece of that. Not only do we have some housing issues to work out, but transportation planning and the routes and access in and out of these properties is going to also be a really significant issue. So I don't think anybody has a ton of information. Well, and I should say the third part of that is probably community input. And we know that comprehensive plan has we gave them instructions that they have to get a lot of community feedback. Several different mediums. They're going to gather it electronically through survey. They're going to hold several listening sessions. So, and I told planning and zoning that too. And I know this is what we've discussed, that I know I've made the mistake of trying to look at this project and this land like through a grand scope. And so now I'm trying to take it, sort of one issue at a time. So, and that's why I say no. So this plat in and of itself is in compliance with our guidelines. It would be ill-advised, obviously, or we couldn't really reject it. It meets our legal requirements. But I don't think that we have answers to any of the questions regarding, again, how are people going to get in and out of this property? What's the right use for this property? How does the zoning impact walkability, the neighborhood, a lot of things.
Have there been any communications between the city and like the Birds or Callahan? As far as
I know the mayor had
any
a
of this?
conversation with Mr. Callahan. Yeah, Jim, do you want to hop in?
Sure. I exchanged emails a little bit with the Birds family, but I did have a direct conversation with Mr. Callahan. He was interested to know what to realistically expect, and I shared with him exactly what Whitney had kind of detailed there, is that, you know, we're in the annexation process now. We've cleared the first step in getting the voluntary annexation applications, and that this is going to run through the process as we've outlined in the document before. So it's going to take a few months to go through, but the actual land use planning and the zoning is likely going to be subsequent to the comprehensive plan. So in realistic terms, we're looking at probably a year from now until we know how that land is going to be used. So he's well
you
informed.
just told him that they can't do anything with that land until after?
I didn't tell him what he can and can't do. I simply told him we would not have a final zoning on that land likely for a year from now. And he
So
understood.
he's gonna purchase it and do what?
That's his choice. He can choose to buy it.
His
He can
choice as
not.
far as if he wants to develop or if he wants to wait, or how's that working?
I think he understands. He's been through this before, right? This isn't the first time he's gone through something like this. He knows that if he buys it, he may or may not be able to develop it in a way that suits his business needs. But he can make the choice to go ahead and buy it, and it's his risk then. If he ends up selling it later, he may or may not make a profit on that. I mean, that's his business decision to make. But we've been transparent with him all the way through this about what we're seeing and how we're trying to line up our data so that we make the best decision we can make as a council for the city.
So, and Kathy, I know that based on the timeline that I have now, which will stay the same, the only reason this would change is if we received the last two applications to make it 100% voluntary. But under this timeline, it won't be finally finalized by the state until Monday, October 12th. So he can't even purchase it until after that, because this plat, the county will not accept it because it is not a legal plat in the county. So, so we and on October 12th, then the plat can be filed. Well, you know, then the council will have to formally approve the plat, then it can be filed, then they can close on the ground. So it's the sale, it won't even come under Mr. Callahan or any buyers. The property couldn't be closed on until that annexation is completely filed. Because, you know, once we have our set of hearings and notices, the state has their own set of those things they have to do once we hand the annexation to them. So it's gonna take several months to get this finalized.
Okay.
And even then, once it's annexed, our zoning code indicates that anything that comes in is ag. So once it's in, he could do anything with it that is allowable under ag, but building an apartment complex is not allowable under an agriculture zoning. So, you know, I guess that basically gets us through the end of 2020.
Okay.
Good discussion on this. Thanks for the engagement. What other thoughts are in people's minds before we move on? All right. Good discussion on that. Thank you. So the last item on the agenda for us to cover is the citizen comment. I do recognize there's a few callers on that I'm not sure who they are. If somebody has anything they'd like to share with the council, now is a good time for that. If you do, please start by giving your name and either address or business affiliation and share your thoughts. Okay, hearing nothing from public comment, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I have a couple quick things. Sorry, I know it's nice out. I'll be fast. We did have a pre-bid meeting today for the sanitary sewer project, so that's just an opportunity for contractors to call in, ask questions to Eldon, but we sat in on the call. So I know there were 16 total people on the call. I'm not entirely sure, you know, who all were contractors, but I know that I mean, it had to be a number of them, probably 8, maybe even 10. So that's good. And I know that they're, I mean, hearing a lot of interest, which, you know, matches, I think, what I would have expected with I'm sure the loss of some private jobs to the coronavirus crisis. So June 2nd is D-Day for that bid opening. So, and then the 9th, the next Tuesday, we'll bring those in front of you and you can know what it feels like to spend $7 million.
Great.
Exciting day. I do think that we were hoping to hear something from the governor today. I know she said now she's going to make an announcement tomorrow, but we are tentatively planning to softly open City Hall next week. We're still going to definitely encourage everyone to do as much as they can remotely, but you know, we're hopeful that the PCC is able to open up. And so I will send you guys more, some more procedures for that. You know, I know we don't have a really large staff, so we're in a good position in terms of having to make changes to our workspaces. We are getting some plexiglass for Karen and Shondi's windows. You know, we're certainly making arrangements, and you know, most importantly, we definitely want to give anybody the liberty to stay and work from home if they're feeling like they even have the tiniest, you know, sore throat or a small fever. We don't want to risk something like that, but we're all ready to get back into a little bit of a normal routine. So we'll have more on that tomorrow when we hear what the governor says, but I guess we're just going to kind of play it by ear. The last thing is there's a cul-de-sac currently at the end of Commercial Court. So where the bowling alley is going to go on the right. And now I do think that, or at least what I've heard, that I think Wes Schulte there's been a successful purchase on the other side also. So there's going to be businesses on both sides. And as those developers work on their site plans, and they've been working with Dean, I think everybody is in agreement that cul-de-sac is not really serving much purpose. So Dean's brought it up. We've discussed it, I think, for almost a month now, and I think we would like to move forward with vacating just the circle part of the cul-de-sac. So we'll keep the road, we'll keep the easement through there, but it's actually going to be better for traffic flow, for snow plowing, for water, for a number of things to not have that circular cul-de-sac at the end of that. I mean, I think when there could have been several different ways to lay out those lots, so it might have served a purpose in a different scenario, but at this point, I think it would prove to be more headaches for our public works department than anything else. And I think the developers see an opportunity to just basically have they can expand their driveways and they can flow right into each other. Dean, do you want to have anything to add there?
I really don't, but if anybody's got any questions pertaining to that or concerns as far as giving that portion up the street up, I could definitely.
What else is going up there?
All the property on the end of that street will be consumed.
Do you know what's coming in though, or what?
I think we're looking at a multi-use building, so it'll be probably like 6 to 8, maybe even 9 commercial fronts on the bottom, and then some residential on top of that. I know it's pretty preliminary right now, but I think it could help provide some much needed commercial space. for a variety of things. So
Nothing definite though, as far as businesses.
no, I have not heard any. No, definitely not any names of. No, I know it's not that developed yet.
Okay.
So Dean, would that just be a straight curve at the end of that then?
Say that again, Jerry?
Would that be just straight curb at the end of the road where the cul-de-sac was?
So basically, there would be no curb. It'd be basically the end of the road there where the circle portion of the cul-de-sac would be eliminated, would be entrances to the businesses or properties to the north and to the south.
Dean, if it wasn't already being talked about, we may want to check with the fire department and just make sure they're okay with how their equipment we get through there.
Or definitely. I mean, the one thing that we will do, the one thing we need to consider is keeping the easement or the right of way through the property. So we will maintain that, remain having that 50-foot easement through them.
All right, so that was a lot of info there, Whitney. There was nothing to take action on in there, right?
No, I just wanted to check with you guys to see if you saw any hurdles to that. I mean, it's not, this is something I consider easy one. If something is best for, two developers and our public works department, those usually are the easy ones, but I just wanted to know if you guys saw any red flags.
Sounds like you got the green light all the way around. Good plan. Thank you. That's exciting.
Yeah. Nope, that's all I had.
All right, now I think we might be at a point where we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Jerry, aye.
Doug, aye.
Karen, I.
Kathy, aye.
All righty, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy what's left of a sunny day out there. Take care.